I didn't cheat. In my actual real life, which is what we're going to address right now, okay? Everything went bad with my marriage November of 2022. Dipped immediately because I had had enough at that point. And then after, met Dallas. So 2 separate men, 2 separate times. Never at the same time, because I don't cheat and I'm not a cheater. But I get it. I get why you think that. But yeah, it's just fucking annoying to get harassed about like every single day. Again, understand, but in my actual life, I didn't fucking cheat. I'm not a whore. Thank you so much. I always...
Okay, before we get into the next post, okay, into the next one here. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I disagree with what Kalani is saying, okay? Simply because Asuelo did not treat her right. This is a man that took advantage of her in ways that he shouldn't, in ways that no human being should have to go through. Now, yes, of course, we know that she took advantage of the fact that she ended up, marrying this man and bringing him to the States purely because she was pregnant. Obviously, if she had never got pregnant, there's a good chance that these two would have never got married and he would have never come to the States, and therefore everything that happened moving forward wouldn't have happened again. But that's not what happened. What happened was she got pregnant and therefore he came over. But at the same time, that anything that happened after that, after he chose to marry her and obviously, be her father and obviously move to the States and whatnot, everything that happened moving forward was down to him and her. Now, of course, all the allegations that she said about him pretty much, having intimacy with her, even though she did not want it, without her consent. She obviously said that, he held her down. And also when it came to the second child, that child happened purely because, he was being intimate with her against her own will. So the things that he has done allegedly, according to her, have definitely not been things that have been the kindest. These things have been absolutely sick, disgusting, disturbing, and like I've always said, should have been reported to the police. I've always found it very concerning and very worrying that she was more than happy to tell us about these events, but never actually to report them to the police. And I think that is something that till this day, she should still freaking do, because at the end of the day, it would be a shame if you became an advocate for women that do watch her and think it's okay to not report a partner that is obviously, been manhandling you, shall I say, physically. But nonetheless, though, we're in the situation here where she is coming out to defend herself when it comes to the conversation about Dallas. Did she get with Dallas while she was still in a relationship with Asuelo? Therefore, was she cheating? I mean, listen, what everything that I just said regarding Asuelo's role in the situation, we do know that he gave her a whole pass. And a whole pass is something that she took, but then after that pass was obviously over, well, that's when we ended up seeing them on the last resort. And on the last resort, it was all about them trying to make things work. And at that point, Asuelo was under the impression that he had never chanced. And the only reason why he is under the impression would have been because Kalani said, hey, we're going to go on this show, we're going to get some help, and hopefully, maybe we can work on things. But as you saw, in case you didn't see the season, when it came down to near the end of the season, Dallas then reappears anyway, and therefore she spends a night with him, and then decides to tell Asuelo that, hey, our relationship is now completely done. So within the timeline of him appearing, obviously during the last resort, now it is not for us to necessarily confirm whether or not they were actually in a relationship at that point, but we do know that Kalani and Asuelo was meant to be there to work in their relationship, which technically means that you are basically borderline in a relationship, because otherwise, why are you going to work on it, if you dig what I'm saying? But instead of working on it, she decided she at some point realized that this wasn't for her, so therefore she decided to spend the night in Dallas and then come back and then tell Asuelo that, hey, it's not going to work. Now, in that frame, you could easily say, just like Friends, the show, right? That, yeah, you can say that she did borderline pretty much cheat. You see what I'm saying? But of course, some people may argue, well, if she knew she was going to leave anyway, well, then it is what it is, which generally is true. Right? I'm not saying anything against that neither. But nonetheless, though, Kalani needs to understand why certain people may have certain perspective in terms of exactly, what they think went down. But most importantly, I just feel like most of the time, people just want to come at her purely because her attitude freaking stinks. And that's just the grand scheme of it, because it really does. She likes to pretend as if she's a saint, but in reality, her attitude does not say that at all. Her attitude portrays someone that's not a saint and somebody that's just freaking annoying. Anyway, let's move into the next one. Oh, Of course, if you're still here, please do hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 60k subscribers by the end of April. And of course, we have so many new people coming in to watch the videos, but obviously not all the time do you guys actually subscribe. So those non-viewers that are coming in who dominate most of the views, please do hit that subscribe button. Of course, people who are subscribers already, you guys always do an amazing job of liking the video and also commenting down below, which is why our videos are then introduced to other people who are obviously not subscribers. So shout out to people who are currently subscribers, but new subscribers or new reviewers, let's say, we need to subscribe because you can help us grow and get that at 60k. But nonetheless, let's get into it.
Forget why I don't explain myself, and then the inbreds come and remind me. So I went to Florida in January of 2023. I was with one person at the time. So, but since you want to talk about men, I did click on your husband's profile and he has been in my DMs. So I wish you both the absolute best and have a beautiful evening.
I mean, listen, Kalani will always be Kalani. Hey, that's all I can say for that. And this is what I mean about, at the end of the day, there's just certain things about her personality that just isn't likable. Was there any point of her really putting that little last bit at the end? Probably, to be fair, because if a man is obviously in your DMs, then obviously he shouldn't be there, you know what I mean? But it's the way she goes about things. She does it in such a snobby, mean, like, girl kind of way, you know what I mean? Just in a way that doesn't really make us really want to like her, and that just comes down to it. But either way, though, despite what she said there about the whole last resort thing, well, here's the thing. You decided to go on a show, and when you went on the show, you went on there. Why? To try and work on your relationship. And I don't care what anybody says. If you break up with someone, but then you decide to go and work on that relationship and go to seek counseling, the moment you say yes to each other, you're basically back together. You may not be back together in a way as if like you're exclusive or like, yeah, we're happy Larry, or yeah, we're going to sleep in the same bed, we're going to cuddle and kiss. It may not necessarily be like that, but it definitely means that you're both on a page where you want to make things work. Otherwise, it's called misleading. So to be fair, if she wants to stick with the narrative that, when I was in resort, I was still single, well, then in that case, you were single, but you was also misleading as well, which definitely speaking is not a good thing. But that's not to excuse anything that Aswell has ever done to her. But this also goes back to why people just don't like you, because the way you just like go about things, you think it's okay. Well, listen, it's entirely up to everybody else how you want to view the situations up in particular. But just to summarize exactly everything that I said, as far as I'm concerned, everything that went down, that's what I did to her was not right. The way she's handled things definitely wasn't right. Did she make things any better? No, she made things worse. But at the end of the day, this is a woman that should have left Oswald a very, very long time ago. She should never stuck around with him as long as she did. But I will say this though, even though she is an annoying person, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt by saying this. I'm going to say that in life, sometimes we have to go for experiences to learn. We live to learn. The only concern is Kalani somebody that has the ability to live and learn? If you ask me, I mean, yeah, maybe. But when it comes to learning, she takes a very good long time about it. Because like I said before, she should have left us a very long time ago and all these things could have been avoided. And that's just the grand scheme of it. But she didn't. She stayed with him and that's how she's where she's at now. Hopefully moving forward, she will do better. And most importantly, moving forward, I hope that, she doesn't put herself in a position where she ends up then introducing too many new men around her kids, because that just wouldn't be cool. But nonetheless, though, all the best to her, obviously, and the kids, and, well, Oswello, if we can get AME's disgusting, she should be in prison. I ain't saying all the best to that waste, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.